Welcome to Radius Talks, where leadership meets learning and ideas spark action. I'm Harpreet Randhawa, and each episode brings you an interaction and conversations with educators, leaders, and facilitators who are reimagining education through technology integration. So let's get right into the show with a very prominent guest that I have today. She's an educator at heart who has spent 10 years into teaching into a CBSE school and now an IB school. Her being an APLS and an ADE led the international school to be an ADS. Her passion lies into empowering students to use technology with an intent and upskill teachers through her APLS session. So please allow me to welcome Ms. Shiwali onto the show today. Then I'm going to have an interaction with you. You being a teacher has seen various aspects of technology integration. You've taught in CBSE school and where the volume of children is very high. I would want to understand and learn more about your journey from where you started and how it has grown into you being in an international school and being an APLS or ADE.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Harpreet, for having me here. Thank you for this opportunity. Um, I would start with my CBSE journey started back in 2015, and that's when I started teaching, and I taught as a TGT teacher, computer science teacher, PGT computer science teacher in various schools across Delhi and now in Faridabad. So last 2 years, I have been transitioned into MYPIB, which again I give credit to Apple because of the journey that I had as an ADE, which is Apple Distinguished Educator, back in 2023, and which led to APLS, my journey of APLS. In the same year it began. So I think that was kind of a support in me. My principals, my leaders identified that, okay, Shivali, we feel that, the kind of knowledge that you have and the kind of work that you're doing will ha- has made you ready for the international curriculum.
Level of
Exactly.
being an educator.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If I may ask you that, how do you find you as a CBSE teacher then and an international school teacher now?
Yeah, so I see a lot of difference in terms of the curriculum structure itself. So when you talk about CBSE, since it's the national curriculum and it's been set for years, IB is something. Of course, it's also an older curriculum, but in India, if you talk about the boom of IB curriculum has come into picture now. So I feel that when you talk about CBSE, it's very structured. You have set curriculum and you go and you teach. When we talk about IB, it's very dynamic. It's very broad. It gives you autonomy to think beyond, out of the box, and
Yeah.
there are different perspectives. There's nothing right and wrong. So you don't have the fear that people are judging you or people are saying that you're going to say it right or wrong.
Yes,
So you
and
can explore.
you can explore. So that brings me to another question to you that when you are not being judged, this I'm leading towards students as well. So when in a classroom setup, you're not being judged, do you think a technology integration helps for a differentiated classroom?
Absolutely. Um, I will say that we see technology as a tool which aids or which supports the curriculum, the main curriculum that you're teaching. I've never seen technology as an additional or as an add-on. Uh, it's basically the pedagogical intent that comes into picture. That what is your pedagogical intent of going up with technology?
Yeah.
It's more important how you what is your expectation of the learning experience that you're giving? It's never about the tools.
Yes.
It's always about the learning experience that you want to achieve in a class or in a particular concept that you're going to teach.
Yes, and that's very important because a student would come to a class if he finds the teacher interesting,
Absolutely.
and that makes the subject interesting. Yes. And if she brings another aspect of making it more interesting to technology, what technology little tweaks can do here and there. That also makes me think that as a CBSE teacher, it was more to do with your books. What do you think if the same technology, the Apple technology, is taken into a CBSE classroom? Would it be very easy for teachers to uh, embrace that and adopt it? Or do you think what needs to be done as a facilitator?
So I'll give you two contexts to it. One is in my own school's context. I'm lucky enough to be part of an organization where teachers are also they are enthusiastic. They are open for the change that comes in, and they have that zeal. They have that fire in the belly to learn new and to implement it. And I think that trickles down from the leadership itself. So if I see the leadership at the school, not because I'm part of the school and I'm their employee, but I think it's been quite a while with the school I'm working. And they have faith in their teachers. They work on their professional development. I think that gives them the confidence and courage to bring the change in the classroom. So with these devices in the classroom, we have the layered approach that we follow, which really help teachers to upskill themselves, reskill themselves, and then that trickles down to the student body as well.
Yeah, because until unless the student sees the teacher
Absolutely.
confident,
Absolutely.
he probably maybe little not concentrating into the classroom and leading it to some other explorations.
Absolutely.
But again, I have been interacting with school teachers recently, and I came across that there is a mindset. Do you also feel that a mindset?
Yes, I forgot to give you the another context, which is when I go in an APLS capacity to different schools, which are majorly CBSE in North India.
Right.
There you see that there's a resistance in terms of adaptability to technology because again, I'll come back to the leadership. You need to have a clear vision, the technology vision. What is your technology vision as a school? What is the culture that you're building?
Yeah.
Right? And what autonomy you're giving to your educators to explore in the school. So I think that plays a crucial role before it comes down to the teachers or the educators, and of course the resources. So I've seen that with the limited, you go to the schools with the limited devices, or probably because of the logistics, not complete support. So they feel sometimes helpless, and of course then comes the elephant in the room that the curriculum, the course has to be completed. ABSC, they have the exams, less time, so tight deadlines. Then schools K-12 have multiple events.
Yes.
A lot of things. They have a lot on their plates.
Yeah. In fact, these events actually add on to the academic calendars.
Absolutely.
And when you talk of an academic calendar, the examination and assessments become a very important part when it comes to any curriculum that you teach. So, how do you think that Apple technology enhances or uplifts the assessment of students and helps teachers to, give the real time assessment feedbacks?
So I'll give you a very good example of what we've observed in the classroom technology integration. We started off this vision back in 2019, where we call it as sprouting a vision. And it was sort of an experimentation that, okay, it was not a tech transformation at that time. We were ready for the safe failures as well, the steady growth as well. Then we thought of redesigning every time, every year.
Yes.
That's how we progressed, right? And I think that was the sustainability model. So then we came up with, okay, uh, everything cannot be, you can't take away pen and paper. You know that. You are working with the national curriculum, you can't get away, and we don't want. That's also very essential part for students. The metacognition skills, get enhanced when they're writing, when they're thinking. Right. So how are you going to balance out that screen time and non-screen time? So what we figured out that the formative assessments can be converted into a digital workflow model, right? Wherein instead of paper pen, there can be multiple activities. Yeah. Students can be engaged in multiple activities, whether it's Apple applications, native applications, or third-party applications. Okay. So, and it depends on teacher how creative you become.
Yes. Because I think CBSE now has NEP 2020,
Yes.
which also talks about creativity, collaboration, thinking, uh, and all of that. Do you think Apple technology enhances this and supports this? And in what way?
Yes, it does. Uh, I I think they have given you n number of tools. You have, if you explore iPad, now is the Apple Intelligence. If you see, we've done again it comes to the creativity of the teacher.
Sure.
How creative you make it. So if I can give you one of the anecdote, we've done I don't just rely on the Apple native applications. I make a combination, right? So that it becomes meaningful, it becomes purposeful, and it is creative as well. So we thought that we'll take feedback for one session we conducted, and we didn't want students to use their original pictures. So we asked them that, okay, let's go to playground and let's create our emojis. It was super fun.
Yeah.
Trust me. I and my son, we do this activity every time we are free. You know, we click our pictures and create different emojis of ourselves, and it's super fun. And then we went to the third party application, and I created the video out of it, and it was an animated memoji video, and it was a wow moment for, it was aha moment for everybody to see that, their memojis are actually speaking. Yeah. So I used one AI tool for creating memoji, another AI tool for creating an animated video for it, and cloned the voices, and it was like boom.
Yeah.
It was magic.
So, in fact, if I think on a bigger platform, a teacher can actually use these tools to create her own lesson
Absolutely.
plans and, her own lessons through her own avatar.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. If she's a camera conscious person,
Yeah.
she can have her own avatar
Yeah.
and start delivering lectures.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, I think Apple tools bring in this creativity
Absolutely.
and the leverage
Absolutely.
to explore and present yourself
Yeah.
without being there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy to hear that because for me, I come from the old school of thought. But then the transition that I keep watching and I keep talking, it is all bringing in the confidence. And I think all the more people who are listening to this podcast would also get confident. What were the initial questions that come from teachers if you put them in front of any iPad?
So the initial questions, I think they were from all the stakeholders. Oh. Whether it's teachers, so there were what ifs.
Acha.
It came from parents, it came from students, it came from other stakeholders, from everybody, including teachers. They had their own apprehensions. When we talk about parents, of course, we know iPads are not, these are the expensive worksheets. Why iPad? Why not
Anything else?
yeah, anything else? Why only Apple?
Yes.
So we had our own answers to it. We knew that it's a safe ecosystem, right? It's a sandbox security that we are providing to the students.
Right.
They are minors who are part of this ecosystem.
Yeah.
We know that Apple doesn't sell out the information of students to any third party.
Right.
So that was one of the point. Another was the UI UX experience, the user experience that you get on a device. We had other devices also, and we saw that even working on third-party applications on iPad, it was seamless. See, I'll give you one example, Nearpod. It's a heavy application. When you work on it, if I open a virtual tour on it, trust me, if you do it on any other tab, it falls apart because the number of students who are working on it, the bandwidth that they are consuming at that point in time, and the interface they are on, it becomes very jittery if you do not have a smooth, you know, your exposure or experience, user experience. So I think Apple was top on it when we talk about such heavy application. It runs smoothly.
So there are two things that I picked up. One is the safety and security of the children who are using this, and of course the teachers. The other thing that you mentioned is the gravity at which it can take up the load of application.
Absolutely.
The seamless working through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, if from the facilitator's point of view, I ask you, because you're an APLS and you go to schools and institutions, there would be some educators who are using third-party applications, as you mentioned, not what you want to talk about. How do you feel that when you bring something new to them? How receptive are they?
So again, it comes down to the time investment which is done by the organization for their education, for their educators, for the PD sessions. So the professional development sessions are a must. That should be a mandate when you're bringing up this technology in the classroom.
Yeah.
You can't let your teachers go unprepared in the classroom. They can't assign the work on Keynote when they don't know what Keynote does, or they can't work on they can't assign anything on Freeform when they themselves don't know how to collaborate on a Freeform. So what I feel is when we go for the APLS session, they're not exploring it themselves. So this is my message even to the teachers out there across the campuses where we have Apple technology. It's not rocket science. Trust me, it's not a rocket science. It's just the amount of time you invest and you explore this device. It's a beautiful device. And the way you can integrate this device with different subjects, with the different grade levels, for the differentiation that you want to do, the inclusivity that it brings with the accessibility feature, it's a game changer.
You talked about inclusivity. That's what IB talks about.
Yes.
That's what NEP talks about. So inclusivity would also mean that students who needs a little extra attention, how are they using this, or does Apple technology help them to use these devices, or is it that they can't use?
Absolutely. I mean, in my school context, we go for the APLS session, but we don't meet the SEN departments. I can talk about the SEN department in my school. It's a rock solid department which is already doing a lot of good work even without the technology. But yes, these devices do excite even the SEN educators, and they come up to learn more about it. And the accessibility feature that it provides, I think that's a game changer. So I can actually customize my iPad by creating focused control on certain apps. I can give access of just the certain apps using the guided access feature of accessibility, in which my students are going to just work on those 4 apps. And I don't need IT support for that.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's so fantastic. So we are looking at inclusivity. We are even looking at accessibility. Now here comes an aspect of a student's voice. Does student's voice matter when you are integrating technology into the classroom?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that is the key component of any. We call it DNA of learning.
Is it?
Which is the good learning experience that you give to your students. So there's an entire framework which talks about it's independent learning and direct instruction. It starts with direct instruction, independent learning, feedback, and assessment.
Super.
So how you are, connecting all these four elements, right, and making the learning experience an aha moment for the student, so that they are confident and they are learning something in a meaningful way from the context that you are trying to draw.
Yes. So these aha moments only bring the students back to the classroom.
Yep.
And when they go back home, the parents feel that they're at the right place and their parents have taken a good decision of putting the student into a particular school. Do you think parents in today's time need more awareness sessions? Absolutely. Because they may be using it for their own work. They are all professionals these days. But when it comes to education, they sometimes feel that, why? They will, as it is now, using it later. Absolutely. So, as a teacher, as somebody who is driving this and who understands the mindsets, and you're a parent too. So, how do you talk to parents? How do you transmit this message that this is what is going to be the tomorrow? And how do you ensure then that it is a safe place for students?
It's a very good question and it's a very relevant one. And trust me, this is every year's process. And I think there should be a structure to it, how you are implementing and executing it.
Right.
It begins from the orientation phase where you're orienting parents, telling them about why iPads, what are you going to do with the iPads, what is the learning impact, because they want to know. They are putting a lot of money into it, so they would know, the Indian parents, they would like to know that if you are cutting down even one period from their entire timetable or two period for the screen time or the digital classes, digital workflow model that you call. Now, what is the advantage? How is it better than the regular teaching learning? Number one, you should bring them to the classroom. There should be simulated classrooms where parents act as students and there is a learning experience for them as well. So if I'm teaching them about any science concept, cell structures or something, they should experience, they should come, they should see how on AR Maker, how the augmented reality actually looks like, what the students are going to do. If I'm teaching them human anatomy, how the human anatomy, how different parts of human body structure looks like. Students can do dissection of it. So I think these elements are the wow elements and aha moments again for the students.
Yeah.
It does become for parents also when we do proper simulation for them. Yeah. Third thing, where you said student voice also, which you asked me earlier, could be the boot camp. Okay. In the boot camp format, you can have the student body giving presentations or facilitating sessions on devices to the parents. When they do so, trust me, you don't have to utter a single.
Yeah, then they feel everything is right, and and they must be feeling confident about their parenting decisions.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because all these are young parents, and when you implement technology in the early classes, it's a concern for the screen time that you mentioned. It's a very important aspect of parenting. Although the children may be using the devices and the televisions at home, but they feel that if it is in the school, it's not done. So how, as a teacher, you counter that?
Again, there's a process for it. You can't let them have the devices all the time because they are students. Even if we are given our cell phones, if you're not doing anything, trust me, any one of us cannot stay away from our cell phones for 5 minutes. We'll just scroll random things. So expecting a 10-year-old or 15-year-old to stay away from the device when the teacher is not around is just not that. So you need to have, again, a process for that. There has to be some digital code of conduct for them and some digital agreement. This is what we do with the students.
So do you also conduct digital citizenship?
Absolutely.
That's a very important aspect of
That's a
given.
That's a given.
It has to happen.
Exactly.
That's how it goes.
So, what are your digital footprints? How is it going to impact? your digital hygiene.
Yes.
So I think these are the safety checks that you have to regularly do with the
I
students.
think one thing you can also add is digital detox.
We do that. We do that. We do that. I'll tell you with IB recently, their session in December, there was their session break. They were free after 20th December, and we had like 10 days. And we thought that, okay, you will not bring the devices to campus. It is going to be digital detox.
Yeah.
Trust me, they were very sad about it. But once they came, and on the last working day, some of them came to us and they said, ma'am, this was a good decision. I mean, we could talk with each other more. We were more, in corridors, and we could do a lot of hands-on work. Though they do it with the devices also, but yeah, I think that personal connect is also very important. Very important.
Very important. And I think what you just said, the detox days and the awareness sessions and all of this adds value and the upbringing of the students. Other than doing the moral lectures, this is the morals that you need to ingrain into them. Of course, also I would want to go back to your days of while you were going through a process of getting your school to be an ADS. It must have been a journey. So, what are the three things that you think a teacher should keep in mind while their school is on a journey of targeting to be a ADS school? So, from the teacher's perspective, if you could highlight.
That's a great question, and I can't forget about that time because it was quite a rigorful process to become an ADS. But again, I will say you need to have the DNA of learning, the learning experience, a good learning experience for your students. What do you do for that, right? And when you want to integrate technology with that, then comes translation to transformation.
Yeah.
Are you just figuring out how you are going to digitize a worksheet?
Correct.
Right? It's not about instead of handwritten worksheet, you're changing it into, okay, we'll do the same thing on pages.
Yes, yeah.
Or you are making it transformative in terms of the innovation that the students bring up in doing the same thing. So let's suppose if I'm doing Indus Valley Civilization, now I'm asking my students to not just write about it, maybe add their verbal understanding also with the voice memo. Or if I want to go one step ahead, I can ask them to augment it and show me a visualization using AR Maker. Now these elements are not there on AR Maker. Students have to create it. They'll go to Keynote, they'll create a caricature of Indus Valley Civilization, they'll export it to AR Maker, and then the magic will happen. So all those things, if I as an educator will not have in my brain,
Yeah.
I cannot articulate it in my classroom.
Yes. So what I understand is while as a teacher I'm creating my lesson plan, so I need to embed those tools. At what step I'm going to bring in which tool?
And the learning
And
impact.
the learning impact it's going to have the outcome that you're
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So the whole teaching learning process needs to be well defined, and with the pedagogical transformation that is going to happen is going to be a major shift.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be a major shift, and that's the education for us tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Not only the children, but the teachers, the modern teachers.
Yeah.
Post you, you're a young teacher, post you, young generation coming in, definitely I believe they will be hands-on with all this.
Absolutely. And they just need a cue. Trust me.
Yeah.
So when I say, I'm going back to my example of Indus Valley Civilization. I want, as a social sciences teacher, students should know the architecture of that time or that civilization, or how the people look, how do they dress up. So that is the impact or learning outcome that I want for that lesson. Not just writing or just adding pictures from Google. Students are going to go and create their own architecture, even if it is like taking it from Google and then doing it and making some changes to it. They're adding their own creativity.
Yeah.
That creative element, that innovation is and then putting it on augmented reality app to give a tour to anyone, I think that's a one step ahead that you do.
Yes, and that too at a very tender age.
Yeah,
Start doing it.
exactly.
And it's exciting, you know. While I have learned a lot from you, um, there's a lot that I'm taking back, and I'm sure the guests who are listening to you, I'm dead sure they're going to take back a lot, and they would definitely get inspired. So before we end this podcast, I would request you to give out a message to teachers if they're not looking at upskilling themselves. Why and how can they upskill themselves?
Can I give a message to the leadership first?
I was coming to that, but then I thought, let me do teachers first, parents, students, and then the leadership.
Okay, I start with the leadership first because
We'll do that.
I think that trickles down.
That trickles down.
That all right.
So super.
Because I think we are the pampered ones from the kind of leadership that we have.
All right.
So you need to build that culture. You need to have faith in your teachers. You need to invest massively in the professional development that the teachers are getting. Make sure that your teachers feel empowered.
Yeah.
In terms of using the devices, right? The pedagogy aspect as well as the logistics as well. Yeah, this is something I have really seen that they are keen to learn, but since they do not have enough devices, it falls apart. So, and have faith in your teachers.
Yeah.
What I think that is a sort of an autonomy our school gives to the teachers that okay, would you're the boss in the class?
Yeah.
Think and explore what do you want to do.
Yes.
So I think if they go it this way, their teachers will feel more empowered, and then there will be a shift in the mindset that it's not an add-on.
Yeah.
It is something. It's a blended model, right? Where where you have your journey from translation to transformation.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
And what about teachers?
Teachers. Oh yes. So again, it's a layered approach. Reskill yourself. It's a process of learning, unlearning, and relearning,
Yes.
right? And take small steps. Be easy with yourself. You don't have to do everything perfectly. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
Because when you fail, you know that there's always a room, there's a scope of improvement.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. So I think that is something teachers should do, and it's not an overnight task.
Yes.
It's a journey, which will take you long way if you stay the course and you are audacious enough to read it.
Yeah, just hang in.
Yeah.
Just
Hang
stay
in
there. Just hang in there, yes. So I think today's podcast has a lot of takeaways for all of us. That how the teachers should have a shift in their mindsets, what they should uptake, give, explore, and experience that they bring to the classroom is something that is going to be very special for each and every student that they interact with. And you know, teachers leave a very deep impact on students' minds. So with that, you know, Shivali, I really want to thank you because you took me back to from CBSE to where we are today with technology. We've seen your journey; it was fantastic, and I believe that all the teachers who are hearing you out would definitely want to go that way, upskill and grow in life, professionally and personally. You being a parent, you're doing fantastic job with this son that I've heard. And for the leadership, the message that you've given is exemplary. They should view very differently because it's the human resource that we have as teachers is very precious, and we have to invest into that.
Absolutely.
That's something with which I would like to close today's podcast. And happy learnings, and see you all the next time on Radio Stocks. Thank you very much.